This is the Herd Line News.
Well, the Grizzlies announced that Ja Morant is dealing with a bone bruise in his knee, and he is expected to make a full recovery, but he will likely be out the remainder of the playoffs. The team has said they believe the injury was triggered when Jordan Poole grabbed his knee in Game 3, but the league did not enforce any disciplinary action of the play. Now, that is up for debate if that was the play that actually caused the injury. What's not up for debate is how big of a blow this is for Memphis. And I believe if he is not in, they are done. And that's just how it's going to be. He is not only the heart and soul of this team on the court, but off the court. And you could really see that in Game 4. Memphis led the entire game until the last minute of the game. They led the entire time. And then Golden State came in and just finished the game. That was a championship veteran team that if you're not playing well, you know how to close out. And if you don't have your star player, I mean, they have a great team. They've shown they can win without him. But in this moment, it's a big blow. It is the biggest blow. And the unfortunate thing with a bone bruise, the only thing you can do is rest.
Yeah,
you don't know how long it's going to take.
It's unfortunate. You want to see the best players available.
Always.
And the best beat the best. So having injuries like this it's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate for fans too. And whether Golden State, they're going to take advantage of the injury as much as they should, and that's how it happens. So it's no knock on them, but that showed you last night the value of Ja Morant. Regular season is a different season than postseason. It is officiated differently. The energy is different. The effort is different. So while it's cool to talk about, they swept them during the regular season series, or the Grizzlies went 20-5 without Ja Morant, this is proof.
Yep.
The regular season is important, not as important as the play that you're going to get in the postseason. And in that moment, while you've led the entire game, and now here come the multi-ring holding Golden State Warriors who have been there, done that, who have come back, who have seen adversity. They're not concerned about being down at all. They're never going to change their energy. It doesn't matter if they played bad the whole game.
No.
And they go and get the win. And that shows you experience and being veterans and being champions. And that's not a knock on the Grizzlies because they are a young team with Ja Morant.
Yeah.
But when you don't have your superstar out there, that is the difference. That's what's going to make the difference in the postseason. So it stinks. I mean, I don't want to, again, I can't get into arguing with people about whether or not that caused it. And Melissa was saying there's doctors
it's up for debate.
that think that that's not what it is. You're not inside Ja's body.
No.
If Ja says that's when the injury happened, that's when it happened. Was it a dirty play? I think it was. Would it have injured someone else? Maybe you can debate that. Who knows? Who cares? The bottom line is Ja is not in. It wasn't a dirty enough play that we can constantly point to Jordan Poole and say, had he not done that, had he not, tackled him in midair, had he not swung and punched him in the neck, something that was very intentional, an intent to hurt someone, I don't think was what happened. He did an action that did hurt him.
Yeah.
Because that's what Ja is saying. But I don't think he intended to hurt him with that play. It's just that the outcome of that play could have been him getting hurt, which is what happens according to Ja, who I will believe because I am not God and not inside his body. But yes, to your point, you don't have your star out there. You're not going to be able to close that out.
It could have also been the tipping point. Ja's an extremely athletic player. He is flying through the air. There is so much wear and tear on your body throughout the regular season and the postseason. Sometimes it takes just a little something to tip everything over, and that could have been what set it off.
And sometimes you get injured on other plays, and you don't realize it or feel it, and then something else causes that to happen.
Nobody knows.
Which is why I'm not going to argue about it.
Bottom line, just sad. All right. Well, let's move to your Miami Heat because they made it a rough night for the 76ers in Game 5. Miami kept Embiid and Harden in check while making nearly 54% of their shots in the 120-85 win. The 35-point margin of victory matched the biggest so far in this year's playoffs and also matched the second largest in Heat's postseason history. Game 6 is back in Philly on Thursday, and the Heat will have a chance to advance in the playoffs if they get their first road win of the series. Honestly, Joy, this was hard to watch last night. All I was thinking about was you sitting in your room at home doing some, you were saying you were nervous all day yesterday on the show. I think you maybe put some sort of voodoo magic spell. You were talking about what Miami does to players. I don't know what it is, but this was a completely different team and game than we saw the 76ers play when they were in Philly.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, I don't have to do anything. The city of Miami does what it does to people. You haven't been there yet.
I've never been, so I don't know.
Yes, it's a place. You know what? It's like Vegas without the casinos.
Dangerous.
You've been to Vegas.
Dangerous.
So it's like that.
Okay.
It's like Vegas with
Late
a beach.
nights.
Instead of the casinos, there's a beach.
Late nights.
And it's a nude beach.
Okay.
Well, not nude. It's a topless beach.
Okay.
There are some nude beaches in Miami.
All right.
That's another story I'll tell you another
time.
Yes, it's a great time, and some people fall victim to it. Certainly during the regular season, it is an advantage to be in Miami as the home team. But that all aside, there was very little effort, and that was what was confusing to me from the Sixers. It's one thing to have a bad game. You can excuse a bad game. You're not the shots aren't falling. You're not getting the calls. The other team is just shooting, and there's nothing you can do about their hitting everything. But it just really felt like there was just the Sixers were giving me nothing.
They felt
You're
winded.
giving me nothing, sis.
Yeah.
What is this?
It just
felt like.
Yeah, no, it felt winded. It felt like a deflated balloon.
But how do you do that as a professional?
You're in the playoffs.
You're professionals.
What are
in
you
the
doing?
playoffs. What other kind of motivation do you need here? That's what was confusing to me about last night. I mean, Doc talked about it. Like nobody had any juice.
No,
I can't put that on Joel Embiid. Of course, Joel Embiid is going to be low energy. He has a broken face. Can anybody else step up here and add a little fire to the situation? That's what role players are supposed to do.
Yep.
That's what championship teams have, is somebody who can come in when the stars are down and give that little extra boost. And you just didn't see that from the Sixers last night.
I was hoping we were getting vintage Harden for the rest of the series, but it seems like that was a one-time thing. Here's a fun little stat for you that's probably going to make you feel a little better about your Miami Heat. No team has ever lost Game 5 of a 2-2 series by at least 30 points and come back to win the series. Both 76ers and Mavs lost by 30 points, just to put that out there. Also, Game 5 winners in the best of 7 series have gone on to win the series over 82% of the time. So things are looking...
The odds are in our favor.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Well, that doesn't usually work out for everyone in Hunger Games. But.
Yeah, that's true. But this time, it's looking good. All right. Switching gears, there are still some notable free agent wide receivers out on the market. Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, and Jarvis Landry have yet to sign with the team for the 2022 season. The Packers would definitely benefit from adding a veteran receiver to their roster. And according to Ian Rappaport, all three options make sense for Green Bay, and he believes the team will be active in this market. They better be one of the most aggressive teams going after some wide receiver free agents. Your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, is the reigning MVP. He lost his number one plus other targets. Get the man some weapons.
Well, they did some drafting, but that's not
development. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a development situation.
You have no idea how they are going to be in the NFL. You can be great in college. It is a completely different energy, pressure,
speed,
size, everything in the NFL. And it's going to take an adjustment period.
Well, so it's Odell, Jarvis, and who else did you mention?
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones.
So Odell, you don't know if he's going to be out for the first part of the season.
So listen, Jarvis I think would be excellent with Green Bay. That would make me feel better about Green Bay's wide receiving core. Obviously, Odell did a great job, but I think Odell fit perfectly with that Rams offense and that Rams environment.
Yes.
So he didn't do well in Cleveland, which is a wildly dysfunctional place. Green Bay isn't dysfunctional, but it can be very noisy. Mm-hmm. The LA Rams are not. They are a big, flashy brands, but they are not a noisy team.
No.
So I think Jarvis Landry would fit perfectly with the Packers, and I think he would actually be very productive there. He's a very solid receiver and a solid teammate and a leader and a veteran. I like that move there. I don't know. I just don't trust the Green Bay Packers anymore.
They just need
not that I ever really did, but I've now just submitted to they're comfortable being good, not great. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I know plenty of people who are just comfortable not reaching their full potential, and they're happy with that. And who am I to judge? You know.
But isn't that kind of, and again, as an athlete, there is a time limit on your career, okay? It doesn't last forever. So it is your choice if you want to go all in on the money or all in, I'm going to take a pay cut and get all the weapons around me. Aaron Rodgers chose the money. So you're going to lose your weapons. And again, that is your choice. No one is judging you for that. You have a limited time in your career.
People are judging. I'm not judging.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money you take.
No.
Because this is what they do for a living.
Exactly.
But it does change how I speak about you in terms of being a possible champion. That does change. I don't have to assume or put you in the conversation with the groups or organizations that I think are going all in for a championship. And to be clear, I'm not talking specifically about Packers players.
No.
I'm talking about the organization as a whole.
Yes.
They are not an aggressive organization. They are not an aggressive front office. They don't have an ownership, obviously.
How can you?
So they can, but they don't. They don't. We've seen this. They've had 2 first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the last 30 years and have 2 championships to show for it. Now, they do have championships, and they do have some playoff wins, and that there's something to say for that. It's not that they are a bad team, but you're not a great team, and I'm not going to call you a great team. I'm not going to put you in that conversation with teams that are aggressive and are making moves and are giving that kind of effort to bring players in to go all in on a guy that you don't even know is going to be there next year in Aaron Rodgers. So that's the exchange. You do what you want to do. You do you, but you doing you sends a message to everybody else. And the you do you for Green Bay is we like to be safe. This is our lane, and that's fine. But it hasn't resulted in many championships.
You gotta win a playoff. Gotta win the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you could start with winning a playoff game at home as the number 1 seed. You could start with that. That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Beat San Francisco with Jimmy Garoppolo's at home. That's a good start. I like that.
Yeah.
That's Curry with the news.